Few sights are as magnificent or as memorable as tall ships. When the tall ships came to Falmouth for the start of the 1998 Tall Ships Race, a 4-day festival ensued, which will be remembered not only for the beautiful ships themselves, but also for the wonderful atmosphere created by the crews and festival goers. Kernow, or Cornwall as it's more commonly known, has a history of independence, which sets it apart from the rest of the United Kingdom. It's a Celtic heartland of myth and legend that has inspired and mystified people since time began. It's a place of rugged cliffs and sheltered valleys, of hard industry and playful leisure. Its heritage is one of hard work and working the hard elements of both the land and the sea. Attracting the Tall Ships Race and marketing it with enthusiasm and professionalism, which Cornwall 98 has done, shows how seriously Cornwall is looking at adapting itself to the challenge of the 21st century, and is typical of a land steeped in proud tradition. This is the third time that the Tall Ships Race has left from Falmouth, and it's not surprising that the event keeps on returning. Falmouth has the third deepest natural harbour in the world and has a history of nautical excellence. The first time the race arrived was back in 1966, when 28 ships came to port, including the Sir Winston Churchill and the Christian Radich. So you can see that Falmouth has both the location and the history to welcome such a truly international event such as the tall ships. However, beyond all the spectacle of ships racing under sail, there lies a deeper concept. The tall ships race enables young people of all backgrounds to sail and race together at sea. There they learn the virtues of teamwork and self-discipline, whilst experiencing the thrills and challenges of a lifetime. Since the first race from Torbay to Lisbon in 1956, some 100,000 young people from many different countries have participated in this great experience. This year's race saw the tall ships gathering at Falmouth. The first leg of the race was to Lisbon in Portugal, and after a few days' rest there, the ships were to sail to the finish in Dublin, stopping off at Vigo in Spain on the way. As the ships started to arrive in Falmouth, however, many trainees began to wonder what they had let themselves in for. Claire and Paul, you've had a bit of a baptism of fire from you because it's your first time sailing and it's pretty much far removed from what you're used to doing.
Yeah, that's right. We set sail Saturday afternoon. We left Gosport, my hat blew in the water, and that was it. The weather went crazy.
But you've been underwater as well, haven't you?
We're trying to win. We're very determined as a crew. We're very enthusiastic, and we're all very, very competitive now. So we've actually been under the hull, cleaning it all off. We had scuba divers down, just cleaning off the rudder and things like that as well.
Yeah.
Is that absolutely necessary?
Of course.
Yeah, definitely. Even getting rid of some of the ground will make the difference in a half a knot of speed, and that's the difference between travelling at 9.5 and 10 knots. Could be the difference in wind.
We've been stowing our supplies for the rest of the trip today, and we've had to distribute the weight. So we've got more weight at the front to keep the bow down a little bit to get just that additional bit of speed. We've got our bosuns tweaking the sails at the moment and the mast. Just that extra little couple of knots will make all the difference.
Definitely.
Now, whilst you're in Falmouth, of course, you've had a chance to sort of sample their life here. What's the atmosphere like?
It's brilliant. I can't believe there's so many people so involved. We went on the parade crew through the town last night, and everybody was out on the streets blowing whistles and clapping and cheering, taking photos. It's really, really exciting, especially because there's so many people from around the world. It's great fun.
And all the boats around here are having parties all the time. So invitations go from the other boats. We had a party ourselves last night. You get to meet all the other crews. Everybody gets on very well. It's very good fun all the time.
Yeah, it's great fun.
Sounds very much like you're hooked.
Oh yes.
Definitely. Especially.
If you'd asked us a question on Saturday when we set sail in the Force-8, no.
No, but
no.
it's been good that we've had 5 days of sailing together, a couple of days of socialising and really bonding the team. So I think we're really raring to go now, and we want to win.
Okay, you join me now with Charles Norris, who's skippering the Dark Horse, the 60-foot schooner for Lloyd's Bank. Charles, it's the first time some of the crew have been sailing at all. What was it like on the way down?
Well, it wasn't ideal. It was a little bit rough when we started, and it got worse. And after only 4 or 5 hours, we had to drop the anchor in Studland Bay, which is near Swanage. It was blowing force 8, getting on for a force 9 at the time, and most of the crew were feeling either a little bit ill or very ill. And unusually, this included myself and my mates, who are normally fairly hardy when it comes to sea and sickness.
Well, they do say the best sailors succumb. What's the atmosphere like down here?
Oh, it's been super. We had a wonderful party last night. We invited 2 or 3 people from every ship we could find, particularly the smaller ones around here. The boat was full of people from end to end. We had some music, and you could actually see the waterline of the boat gradually sinking as we got more and more people on the deck.
Right, back to serious stuff now, because of course you're preparing for Sunday's race, and how do you fancy your chances?
Well, this crew is so determined that they're going to win. They've been scuba diving off the end of the boat to clean the bottom, get rid of those little bits of weed that are still left. They'd have liked to have had the thing out and polished it, but we haven't got the time for that. With this enthusiasm, we're going to try and make this the first time Dark Horse has won tall ships.
You're that confident?
We're really going to do our best. We'd really like to win.
I'm from Cuauhtemoc, from Mexico City. From Mexico.
What do you think of Falmouth?
Oh, it's a very nice city, and I love England.
What do you think of Falmouth?
I think that Falmouth is very interesting and very nice city. It is very typical English city.
The Bulgarians were sort of telling me and the other Russians there that it was Great Britain was a cold place, you see, and then they started criticising the weather, and I was trying to fight my corner, and I said, well, it does get warm in England sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I shouldn't broadcast that, otherwise you'll have the Cornish Tourist Board after us.
The response from the public was tremendous and a huge boost to all those involved in organising the festival.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. We're thrilled. The weather's held out. People have come down. It's such a fantastic atmosphere all throughout the town. We're really, really pleased. And plus, it's been so busy. We've had 50,000 people through the gate on Thursday, 100,000 people through yesterday. Yesterday, in the first 10 minutes on the docks, we had 1,000 people through just in the first 10 minutes. So it's been really, really busy. But most of all, you know, the atmosphere's stayed there. Everybody's really enjoying themselves. So it's really good. We're thrilled, actually.
Of course, it's all building up for the setting sail on Sunday. What have you got planned for Sunday?
Well, Sunday it's just basically the viewing points. People will be all wandering up to the viewing points to see the parade of sail. There are 2 lines of ships going out, and that will be an absolutely stunning sight in our beautiful harbour.
If you're out there and are looking for your daughter, she's waiting for you outside the Royal Navy stand at the Information Centre. Thank you.
The Princess Royal, with her husband, Captain Tim Lawrence, went on board 2 big square riggers, the Russian Krusenstern and the Polish Dama Jersey.
We have a Tristan Evans who is lost.
On the northern arm of the docks lay the Kaliakra from Bulgaria, the Oysterschelde from the Netherlands, and the Lord Nelson from the UK. The Lord Nelson was purpose-built in 1986 for the Jubilee Sailing Trust, a national registered charity to promote greater integration between able-bodied and physically disabled people. She's a 490-ton 3-masted bark, is 55 metres long overall, and has 18 sails. On the Queen's Wharf lay the Krusenstern, a 4-masted Russian naval training ship which at 372 tons was the largest in the race. Built in 1926, she used to trade around Cape Horn to Australia and Chile. Today she's used for training up to 150 cadets at a time. The sail training ship Guatemala was built in Bilbao in 1982 and was acquired by the Mexican Navy in order to solve the lack of a unit exclusively designed for the training of officer, cadets and crew. It has a brick Barker rigging with 3 masts and 23 distributed sails, 10 main mast block and foresail sails and 13 fore and aft sails, with a total of 2,368 square metres. Palinoro was launched in 1934 and plied her trade mainly across the Atlantic between France and the Newfoundland banks, where she loaded the fishing fleet catch to take back to her home country. The schooners Belle, Poule and Étoile were constructed in 1932 for the French Naval Academy. They are identical and of the type of schooner which sailed to and from the north coast of France to Newfoundland during the late 1800s. The normal compliant aboard is 1 officer, 5 petty officers, 10 non-rated men, and about 15 midshipmen. Falmouth and its docks became alive like never before, and with the sailors from the Guatemala leading the way, the party atmosphere continued long into the night.
good music. That sweet soul music. Just as long as it's swinging. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't put to the groove. Don't let it pass you. Just as long as they're playing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Start making a little motion. Don't let it pass you. Oh, let it pass you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Start making a sexy. Don't let it play ya. Sing it on and down it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Light up with some wickedness. That wicked, wicked beauty. Sing it Mustang Sally. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Start laying out on the shredded. Bam, 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 bam. Sing it bam, 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 bam. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Spotlight on James Brown, oh. The king of them all, the king of them all, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Do you like good music? That sweet soul music. Just as long as it's sweet, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Got to feel music.
Race day, and everyone is nervous and feeling ever so slightly worse for wear.
We came down 3 weeks ago for a holiday, and we decided we'd wanted to come back for the tour trip, so here we are. So we've come a good way, so we're hoping to enjoy it, and I'm sure we will. Okay?
Well, I wish we'd have this every day, actually. It's a good atmosphere, good party atmosphere. Everyone's enjoying themselves. It's great.
What's been the best thing that you've seen so far?
Beer tent. Without a doubt.
It's been a great party for Falmouth all weekend. A woman came up to me just now and she said I wasn't in favour of this, but it's been absolutely wonderful. We need it every year, so it's great. Wonderful time.
Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba se necesita una boca de gracia. People here. Una boca de gracia, negocita, y arriba, y arriba. Ay, arriba, y arriba, y arriba iré. Yo no soy marinero, yo no soy marinero, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Ah, ba, ba, ba.
One by one, the ships began to make their way to the start line. An estimated 250,000 people thronged to the port and surrounding coastline to watch the fleet as they set off on the voyage to Lisbon. crowds and cars lined Trefusis and St Anthony's Head, and pleasure boats from all over Devon and Cornwall had made their way to Falmouth. The ships were about 3 miles offshore when Princess Anne gave the signal for the crew of HMS Nottingham to fire the starting cannon. The Tall Ships Race of 1998 will always be remembered for the pleasure it brought to hundreds of thousands of people. The organisation by Cornwall 98 has guaranteed a superb and memorable event. Who knows, perhaps one day the beautiful ships will return.
Cable comes to rolling round the dandy yard. We're outward bound for Ballypoe Bay. Way, hey, roll and go. With plucky me lads, it's a hell of a way to